Hello and welcome to Mandobug Crafts, episode 72. What's up everybody? My name is Amanda, but you may know me on the internet as Mandobug. This is my crafty video blog podcast, if you want to call it. I'm coming to you from Washington State, where I live with my husband and 2 kids, and this is where I share what I've been working on, knit, crochet, spinning, whatever have you. In this week's episode, I have knitting and some crochet design. So starting the show out with something I've learned, which is going to blend into works in progress again this week. So I have been working on this vintage Prim Hat by Andrea Mowry. And I'm having issues, you guys. Not with her pattern, just personal issues. So I am knitting this hat out of Schmitzarella yarns in Sybil and Edith. And it's just an amazing pay-for pattern. I'm knitting it on US 3, which is just a needle size down from the recommended. And so what's happened? I've got a couple more repeats of the pattern in, so you can actually see the faux cable going on here. And if I reverse it, it's actually easier for you to see the cable with the orange popping. I think this is going to be the side that I wear it on. This is what I prefer, and this is actually how I intended to knit it, but I thought that looking at the picture, you know, she said the main color was the charcoal and the contrasting was the, I don't remember the name, but the whiter color. So I'm wondering if in her picture on the pattern, if she's wearing hers inside out, because I chose my colors based on that, and it didn't match. Because in her picture on the pattern page, the white is this part here, which is what I wanted the orange to be. But when I followed where she said the white went in the pattern, I ended up with this side. So she may have worn the hat inside out. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. I can wear the hat inside out and you won't really tell. So what I learned is I learned how to do these increases and decreases. They weren't all that bad. So once you kind of wrap your mind around the fact that with brioche you have stitches that have a little wrap around them, a shawl on them, as I believe Stephen West calls it. You put the little shawl on the stitch. And once you know to count a stitch and its shawl as one, the increases and decreases are very similar to just regular increases and decreases. So, I mean, it was really, really simple, a lot more simple than I thought it was going to be. But the issue I'm having is, for whatever reason, I blanked on this section. So on this section, you're just knitting garter stitch, and you're knitting one row of the main color and purling one row of the contrasting color, and you can see right there, for whatever reason, I knit the contrasting color when I was supposed to purl it. Like, oh, a good 10 rows back. And so last night I decided to stop, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to rip back. I think I'll drop down and fix it. So I must have been really tired. I mean, I know I was really tired. I picked up the stitches. I dropped the first 2, so you can see my marker here. I dropped the first 2 and picked them up, but I picked them up in the reverse order because I thought it would be easier to pick it up looking from the other direction. And so what happened was I picked it up from the reverse side, knitting my main color and purling my contrasting color, which is what you do from the right side. But because I was picking up from the wrong side, I should have been purling the main color and knitting the contrasting color. So I switched. I think I'm gonna have to rip back, and I was avoiding it because of the brioche. I don't want to have to rip back brioche because that is gonna it's gonna confuse me. So if I put in a lifeline, though, I should be fine. But then determining how to put the lifeline in the brioche, maybe I'm not going to rip back. I might just painstakingly drop each stitch and fix it, not backwards. Oh, why are you giving me so much trouble, hat? You're not even that difficult. One thing I still have to decide with this hat is if I'm going to add the last repeat in. So she calls for 3 repeats of the original design and then plus, you know, a partial repeat. I have done 2 repeats, and I'm working a way through the 3rd, but I think I'm going to stop at the partial point because the original pattern is a super slouch, and I just generally don't tend to wear my super slouchy hats. Andrea's got really cute bangs, and so when she wears the slouch, she can wear the brim of the hat much higher, but I don't have bangs. So when I wear a brim of a hat high, I just have like forehead for days. You know, we don't need that. So I like to bring my brim down, and they act like faux bangs, you know, to kind of section off your head. So if I stop here, I'll have like a nice, comfortable beanie. If I keep going, then it starts to slouch, and I don't know, I'm not as big of a fan. So I think I'm going to leave one of the repeats out. But that's going to be like after I fix my mistakes and decide. So yeah, we're going to be doing some dropping and picking up. I mean, it's a majority of the hat is this garter stitch. There's just the one small cable. It's going to teach me to pay attention, right? Don't just blindly knit stitches. But yeah, so I have to fix that. My other works in progress are designs I've been working on. So this hat I've actually, well, and I don't have the little one with me, this hat I've actually made for Emily, and I'm writing and testing out the large size for an adult for myself. This yarn was probably not the best choice to show the pattern because it's a very variegated colorway, but I really liked the color. This yarn is Haiku Sueño, and Emily attacked, or maybe it was Jack. You know, every now and then if I put my crochet down, my kids will grab the ball and the hook and just like start stabbing the ball. I think it's cute. I think it shows that they have interest in learning to craft. Except this happens, and this is not cute or fun. I need to get better about putting my stuff up instead of just putting it down. But yes, Haiku Sueño, and this is actually a limited edition colorway called Huckleberry Pie. So there's 4 or 5, I can't remember exactly, maybe 5 of the limited edition colorways that are all pie related. So I really fell in love with this Huckleberry Pie. There's a blueberry, an apple, a cherry, and a blackberry. I think that's all of them. But yes, Huckleberry Pie, and the pattern is a star stitch pattern. I haven't settled for a name, although I'm playing with the idea of Behind the Stars. So it's such a comfortable fit. I think I nailed it on the size. It's supposed to be a 20-inch hat, and so it fits me very well. Maybe a little tight on someone with a larger head. But if I show you up close, maybe you'll see a little bit more of the stitch definition. It's the nice star stitch, and it's got some front and back post ribbing down here, the star stitch in the body, and you work the star stitch into the back loops of the previous row, and that's what gives you that nice defined line, which is kind of why I've been playing with the idea of behind the stars, although the stars are really behind, or what's being behind, not, so it's not what's behind the stars, or it is what's behind the, whatever. I'm not sure if that's the name I'm going with, but I like the way that it sounds. But yeah, I really think that this pattern is fun, it's different, it gives you a different kind of fabric than just traditional crochet stitches, so I'm kind of excited for this hat. I wasn't, when I first started working it up and you couldn't see the star stitch pattern as well, I thought about frogging it and reusing this yarn for something else, because I'm in love with this color. But once it was big enough to set on my head and I could see it in the mirror, I said, oh no, this is what this needs to be. This is what I want. So, well, so yes, this will continue on. I will continue to get that tested for my sizing, and this one, as well as another, which I don't have in here, another star stitch inspired or included design that I've made. There will be free patterns, and so once I get those written up, I will get them to testers and I will release those as free patterns because they're pretty simple. They're just utilizing a stitch. All you need is the math, and I can do the math for you guys and share that for free. Why not? Well, and then I also want to do tutorials on how to make them as well. So, yes. And I'm crocheting this on kind of a big hook. So Sueño is a DK weight yarn, and I'm using a 5.5mm eye hook, which is usually more for like a worsted weight or sometimes even larger. But the loose gauge on this star stitch makes a really nice fabric. So I did want to mention that. And then I only have one other work in progress that I'm actively working on right now, and it's it's very sparkly. So this one's only halfway done, which I kind of had a mistake. So a lot of times with designs, I dream something up and then I just try to figure out how to create it. And so this, I kind of had the idea in my mind, and I'm like, how am I going to make this happen? So this is going to be a top, and I wanted to use this Vegas yarn. So if you've been watching these last few episodes, I just got back from Vegas, and I got to meet my technically second cousin, Annie, and I just had a lot of fun, and I was very inspired by her and my trip to Vegas to design a tank top. So it was really, really hot down there. She was in a tank top every day, and we got to chatting about how I love to make and create and design, and so I was like, you know, I want to design her a tank top that she can wear down here in Vegas, and it's fun, and it will represent her very strong. She has a very strong personality, which I really enjoyed. But then also kind of reflect my aesthetic as a designer, which it's funny to think that like I even have one, but now that I'm creating patterns, I'm starting to see it develop. It's really fun. But so this yarn is, oh, and I don't have the tag for it. This yarn is called Vegas, and it comes on these cones, and I think it's, oh, I don't want to say, and I can put it at the bottom of the screen when I go back and edit this, but I believe it's like a polyester, 100% polyester or rayon or something like that, some synthetic fiber, and it's not pleasant to touch. A lot of times when you get some sort of sparkle in your yarn like this, it's just not something that you want. Oh no, you don't want this on your skin, but I wanted to use it in the top. So I'm making these like elongated diamondy drop shapes, right? This is very Vegas, right? You think like cards, you think diamonds, and you think sparkle, and the yarn's called Vegas. So we don't want these touching the body, so the plan is to line the bottom of a tank top in the sparkle, preferably low enough that it doesn't touch the skin, or it goes over the top of your shorts or pants, whatever you're wearing, so that again it's not touching your skin. I haven't gotten much further than this because the concept of how to create the shapes that I want in my top, all of these have to be made first, and it took me a little while to get the shape exactly the way that I wanted it, and even writing it down I messed up making it because it can be a bit tricky. So you start at one end and you start increasing out, and then you decrease back down later, and when you're doing your decreases in the previous row you'll have double crocheted two together, and if you're not paying attention you might count that as more than one stitch looking at it. Remembering it's a decrease and should only be counted as one, you will decrease correctly, but I was not paying attention the first time. I did not decrease correctly, so I had to rip out, this is the other one I'm working on, I had to rip out half of it. Now, I bought enough yarn to make one for me and Annie, so I haven't decided. I have a handful of colors of this Vegas, and so I'm thinking possibly doing each diamond a different color in the top, or maybe doing two of each color. I'm going to see how much I can get out of this purple before I for sure make any decisions, but I'm mostly drawn to the idea of each diamond in the top being a different color. We'll see how that goes. So it's going to have the diamonds across the bottom. It's going to be like an A-line, at least this is a plan for now, like an A-line tank up to the bust, and then it's going to become a halter top up at the top, and it will be tied. And I'm thinking I want to add a tie in the back just to give you some nice, a nice tight fit under the bust, because it is going to be a halter top. You don't want those loose under the bust, because then when you tie it, it's not really holding anything together, giving any shape or form. So this is going to be an adventure, because I've never made a tank top, not even knit. So knowing going into this that I'm gonna have to be doing it and ripping it out and doing it and ripping it out, I think that I can possibly maintain my sanity. I'm definitely gonna be making the first one to fit me, and then sizing it up from there and to fit Annie. I have her measurements, she is much bustier than I am, so that will be fun. I think that I'm going to be adding bust darts into the pattern, of course with the explanation of how to do that as well. And I want to be putting out more tutorials, so most likely tutorials to go along with that as well. This one will most likely be a pay-for pattern just because it is a lot more intensive, but you can still create tutorials for paid for patterns. You just make them private and link them right in the PDF. So that's totally a possibility, which I just learned about this week. I mean, I knew that you could do private videos on YouTube that are accessible by link only. It never occurred to me that you could use that for patterns for sale. You could do private tutorials. So I thought that was really cool. That may be interesting and new to you guys as well. Yeah. I'm crocheting this on a 2.5mm crochet hook, and this Vegas is a fingering weight. I'm going to be pairing it with Kobasi, which I left somewhere in here. Just, you guys be happy that you can't see the rest of my craft room. So I have started playing on Instagram stories, and it's been a lot of fun because Instagram stories is, you can kind of use it as like a little daily blog. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, is, you know, documenting pieces of my day. And yesterday I attempted to clean this for like an hour, and it got worse than when I started. And so if you followed me on my Instagram stories, you'll have seen what's outside of the view of this frame. What you didn't see in my Instagram, but you can see kind of now, is that I reorganized these 4 cubicles here. That was what I did in my hour. And to do that, it made everything else worse. I really just need to find some time to get in here and work, but I need to find time for so many other things too. It's hard. I'm having a hard time prioritizing all of these responsibilities that I've put on myself. I'm sure that you guys can relate. So that was a total side tangent. Back to what I was talking about. I was talking about my tank top. I think I'm going to name it Annie after my second cousin, or maybe something Vegas related. I haven't decided for sure. But that's all of my works in progress. I don't have any finished objects this week, and so that takes me to current events. So I have my show notes down here, that's why I keep looking down. And also, I kind of feel like I'm squinting a little bit. I have my lights set up today, and maybe they're too bright, or I set them up incorrectly, because I feel like I'm squinting. I'll know when I watch this back to edit it. So let me know if you guys like the new lights, don't like it, or didn't see a difference, because I, would like to better this podcast. I'm always open to constructive criticism, so throw it on me. So current events. I am hosting the Cat Crochet Along Together with Skacel, and we are in our second week of the pattern. This is this guy. Well, this is the stole version, and that's it folded in half. And so the first week we made the large motifs on the bottom, and this week we're making the small motifs, and so you'll learn the picot stitch and how to join as you go as a method. So if you are interested, please feel free to join along. It's being hosted in the Skacel Knitting Ravelry group, and it is a free pattern online with links to video tutorials. I show you completely how to make the thing from start to scratch, but it is released in segments week by week. So the second week is halfway through. The bulk of the work is in week 3, so if you'd like to join now, it's still not too late to catch up. And if you're making the scarf size, which is the smaller option, it's from here down. So it's far less work, definitely doable. You could even join in the 4th week and still catch up. Especially if you are an experienced crocheter. It's a really fun pattern, and it uses Zauberball Starka 6, which is a self-striping yarn, so it does all this fun stuff for you. Alright, and then check it out. Okay, so this is where all the crafty content stops in my video this week, so if that's all you're here for, thank you for stopping by, thank you for spending time with me, thank you for checking me out if you're a new viewer, and thank you for returning if you are a returning viewer. But now I'm going to get into some less crafty related things. So for Check It Out this week, I wanted to share this makeup company with you guys that I just found out about, and they're actually local to me. They're based in Tacoma, Washington. I found out about it from a coworker. She had these amazing wraps on her nails, kind of like the Jamberry wraps, except they don't require any kind of equipment. You just order the wrap, you put it on, and you put clear polish over the top, and you're good to go. So the company is called Espionage Cosmetics, and they have, I think it's just called Nerd Makeup, or maybe Nerd Girl Makeup, and what my coworker was wearing is the Nerd Manicure. So the very first time I saw it, she was wearing a manicure that each finger was a different, like, Cosmo, like, nebula thing. I don't know the right term, so I have to say thing, but they're actual ones in space, photographs of them, and she said it came with a list of, you know, a description of everything about each one. She said not always do they come with such detailed descriptions about what's on the manicure, but it was really, really cool. And just the other day she was wearing a tentacle one. So they have like very unique wraps. I've been eyeballing a few. I haven't actually gotten them yet. So typically a set of nails will, and they're not nails, they're wraps. A manicure will cost about $10 more if it's like an exclusive featured one. And then sometimes they have sales, so they have some that are $5 right now. And but they have ones that, like, there's this one that's like a unicorn mane that's like rainbow colored, so most of your nails are this rainbowy mane. And then like 2 of the nails are unicorn, cute little eyelashed eyeballs. They have like science ones. They have really cute ones that look like literature with butterflies on it. So if you like interesting nails or manicures or even makeup, I haven't really explored their makeup options, check out Espionage Cosmetics. They seem to be a small local company, which is always fun to support, and they really listen to their customers in their niche market. So definitely check them out. So moving on to Let's Chat. I've been just a busy bee. I've kind of mentioned earlier that I just like have too much on my plate right now. Ever since I've gotten back from vacation, I just feel like I have a list that's way longer than I possibly have time to get through, and I keep like putting more on myself. As I know this list is too long, I'm like, oh, and I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, I need to slow down is what I need to do. I'm trying. I don't feel insane yet. I just feel the momentum building. You know, I just started 2 new classes of school, and my first class that I've been taking is still going. I only have 3 weeks left of that one, but I just started 2 new ones on top of it. And because I'm near the end of my degree, the classes are more work intensive, and one of them is real interesting. It's business use cases, and the entire class assignments are in Excel, so I had to like dig up, because I don't know if I told you guys, but a while ago my desktop computer completely crashed. Just straight up virus done. It's sitting to the side to get repaired one day, but I think it's one of those things where it costs more to repair it than it would be to just get a new one. But luckily, one of my friends had a computer they were no longer using, and they have been letting us use that. That's what I've been using to upload and edit my podcasts on. So I was able to dig up a really old copy of Microsoft Suite and get Excel on there, and I'm gonna have to learn how to figure this out. It's like we have to like download this entire database, and all of our assignments are some sort of manipulation of this database. not looking forward to that. And also, a lot of my homework is reading and writing, essay style, which is easy to do while you're watching the kids. But the Excel, not so much. And also the desktop is in our bedroom, which is not where I want the kids playing. So I'm gonna have to be finding time outside of watching the kids to do at least that class specifically. Not looking forward to that. But other than that, I've been trying to get a lot more of my designs written up and tested, and I want to do tutorials for those. So I need to find time for that. And also I need to make sure that when I am watching the kids that I'm not just prioritizing myself to do other things too. I need to spend time with them. I need to be doing things with them. We went to the park the other day. They had a great time. It's just, life is a lot of balance, and I feel like I'm just working to try to make that balance for myself. Because I am in a very fortunate situation where I have a pretty happy work-life balance, but I also have that personality that never stops working to improve, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and sometimes that gets me to overwhelm myself. But yeah, so I'm looking to do more tutorials. I've been enjoying the Instagram stories, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue doing that. But yeah, I mean, that's mostly what I've got going on in my life. I really want to get this craft room put away. We've lived here now for since May, and have not spent any time in here, except for like snippets here and there to record, come in, get graphs, leave, but no organizing other than when I just initially unboxed everything. So I have a lot to do. I need to just get a list and prioritize and set reasonable deadlines for myself. Like, very reasonable. Because unreasonable deadlines, that's just asking for a disaster. Kombucha. This is the last of my previous batch. This one I flavored cherry. It's okay. It's kind of tart. Which I found to be interesting because the dark cherries were sweet, but going into the kombucha it turned kind of tart. Not one of my best batches, but they're getting better. This most recent batch that I just bottled looked good, tasted good. Just the sip test that I had to know whether it was ready or not. I let it second ferment with a blueberry raspberry, so I had some fresh raspberries from the side of the house that I had frozen while they were still good. So I took some of those. I had some frozen blueberries, took some of those. It was like probably 3 parts blueberries, 1 part raspberry, because my raspberry kombucha was very, very tart. I cooked those down, strained out the seeds and skins, and put about a tablespoon in each bottle that I bottled, and I'm really excited to try those. They just finished their second ferment today, so I will have my first one tomorrow as I finish my last cherry. I need to get more bottles. I had to drink like 2 kombucha a day, plus Josh was drinking 1 a day to catch up from the brew that I brewed while I was gone and wasn't drinking my other bottles. I almost did not have enough bottles to brew, to tap on time, so I need to get more bottles, and also I want to start a second batch. So this kombucha brewing has been a very addictive and fun hobby. So, alright guys, well if you made it this far, thanks for hanging in there with me. I feel a little rambly here at the end, but I guess it happens sometimes. Alright, I will see you guys next week, and until then, happy crafting. Bye!